Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the Iraqi dinar. If you want to stay informed with moment-by-moment developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. In today's update, we're taking a careful and professional look at a circulating claim, suggesting that certain developments tied to the Iraqi dinar may be imminent, with specific references to midweek timelines for notifications and possible exchanges. The statement also points to unnamed sources, mentions internal instructions allegedly given within a major banking institution, and highlights reports of non-disclosure agreements being issued to individuals described as redemption center staff. As always, our goal is to separate verifiable economic signals from speculation and to explain what this kind of information actually means in the broader financial context. Let's begin by addressing the core of the claim. The statement suggests that there is a high confidence level among three unnamed sources that a major event related to the Iraqi dinar could occur within a very short time frame. In financial analysis, the credibility of such claims depends heavily on transparency, traceability, and alignment with known economic policy frameworks. When sources are not identified and the information cannot be independently verified through official channels, it is important to approach such statements with caution. Financial markets, especially those involving sovereign currencies, do not operate based on informal timelines shared privately among a few individuals. Instead, they are driven by central bank policy, government coordination, macroeconomic indicators, and international financial systems. The Iraqi dinar, like any national currency, is managed primarily by the Central Bank of Iraq. Any significant change in its valuation, exchange mechanism, or international status would require coordinated policy announcements, regulatory adjustments, and likely communication with global financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. These processes are typically documented, publicly communicated, and implemented in structured phases, rather than sudden, unannounced events. Now let's examine the mention of a specific timeline, particularly the reference to Tuesday and Wednesday for notifications, followed by Wednesday and Thursday for exchanges. In legitimate financial systems, especially within regulated banking environments, large-scale currency exchange programs or revaluations are not executed on such short, informal notice. Banks require operational readiness, liquidity management, compliance checks, and coordination with central banking authorities. Even in cases of currency redenomination or reform, governments typically provide advance notice to ensure stability and avoid panic or confusion among citizens and investors. The idea of notifications being sent out also raises questions. In standard financial practice, there is no established mechanism where select individuals receive private notifications ahead of a major currency event. Any policy change affecting a national currency is by necessity public information. This ensures transparency, fairness, and equal access to information, which are fundamental principles in global finance. Moving on to the claim involving a major banking institution, specifically the suggestion that someone working at a large bank was instructed not to leave their state due to an impending event. While this detail may sound compelling, it lacks verifiable context. Large banks operate with thousands of employees across multiple regions, and internal instructions can be issued for a wide range of operational reasons that have nothing to do with currency revaluation. Without official confirmation or supporting documentation, such anecdotes should not be interpreted as evidence of a broader financial development. It's also important to understand that major banks do not independently initiate or control sovereign currency changes. They act as intermediaries within the financial system, executing transactions based on policies set by central banks and regulatory authorities. Therefore, any internal communication within a bank would be a response to official policy, not a precursor to it. Another element of the claim involves non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, reportedly being issued to individuals described as redemption center staff. In professional environments, NDAs are commonly used to protect sensitive business information, particularly during mergers, acquisitions, product launches, or internal restructuring. However, the concept of redemption centers, specifically designated for a currency like the Iraqi dinar, is not recognized within the formal global banking system. Currency exchanges are typically conducted through licensed financial institutions, such as banks and authorized exchange services, under regulated conditions. The use of NDAs in this context is often cited as an explanation for the lack of publicly available information. However, in reality, large-scale financial operations involving national currencies cannot be concealed through private agreements. Regulatory bodies, international partners, and market participants all require access to accurate and timely information to ensure stability and compliance. From an analytical standpoint, the presence of NDAs or internal restrictions does not, on its own, indicate that a major currency event is imminent. It simply reflects standard business practices that can apply to many unrelated situations. Now let's shift our focus to what truly drives the value and potential movement of the Iraqi dinar. Iraq's economy is heavily influenced by oil revenues, fiscal policy, political stability, and structural reforms. Over the past several years, the country has made efforts to stabilize its economy, improve transparency in its banking sector, and align more closely with international financial standards. These are positive developments, but they are gradual and require sustained implementation. Any meaningful change in the value of the dinar would likely be tied to long-term economic indicators such as increased foreign investment, diversification of revenue sources beyond oil, improved governance, and stronger integration into the global financial system. These factors evolve over time and are reflected in official data, policy announcements, and international assessments. In the short term, the Iraqi dinar is expected to remain relatively stable within the framework set by the Central Bank of Iraq. The bank has historically maintained a managed exchange rate to control inflation and ensure economic predictability. Sudden, dramatic shifts in currency value are generally avoided, as they can lead to economic disruption and loss of confidence. For followers of the Iraqi dinar, it is essential to distinguish between speculative narratives and evidence-based analysis. Claims that rely on unnamed sources, confidential communications, or restricted information should be treated with skepticism, especially when they suggest immediate or guaranteed outcomes. Financial decisions should be based on verified data, official statements, and a clear understanding of economic fundamentals. Looking ahead, the long-term outlook for Iraq's economy will depend on its ability to implement reforms, attract investment, and maintain political and economic stability. Progress in these areas could support gradual improvements in the currency's strength and international standing. However, this is a process that unfolds over years, not days or weeks. In conclusion, while the circulating claim may generate interest and speculation, it does not align with the established mechanisms of global finance or the documented policies of Iraq's monetary authorities. There is currently no official confirmation of any imminent revaluation, notification system, or special exchange process related to the Iraqi dinar. As responsible analysts, it is important to remain grounded in facts and to avoid drawing conclusions based on unverified information. Thank you for watching Iraqi Dinar News. If you want to stay informed with accurate, balanced, and responsible updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. This content is provided for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice.